It all works in perfect unison, but nothing's connected.
Yeah, Einstein, relativity.
Yeah, there's a clock in the
Everything's
sky.
relative.
It works perfectly, but no, nothing's connected. No. No. Horoscopes, nothing.
And all these people we put our trust in are fools. You know, when you learn that, they're just complete fools and puppets that have been put there. Most of them, 90% of them.
What about Stephen Hawking? Seriously. I mean, what do we know? That was just a voice coming out of a box. We don't know.
Straw.
Yeah.
No one survives that too, they tell us. He's like the one guy that lasted how long?
Yeah.
No.
The straw is an interesting point.
I wonder who did his voice.
How do you get, long, in-depth cognitive sentences by breathing into a straw? Like, what computer is?
It's not possible or logical.
It's not. What's
back when they did this too, right? What they're telling us the technology
back in the 80s. Because you imagine the only way that could work is he would have to be doing some kind of code with his blowing, because to get the different words, wouldn't he? But the dude couldn't even breathe properly. He was on it, so he can't be sitting there go.
He has less control. Like for something like that to happen, it'd be a master bloody singer who could control every little muscle in their thing to put out the exact. Yeah, no, it's not
possible.
And you've got the universe is going billions and billions. No. Computer says no. That's just literally the picture of AI taking over and controlling. Like, you've got to see it for what it is there. That is the voice of AI coming. Like, that is what they want everyone to be, that invalid in that wheelchair who has no control of it. Who knows what that mind was actually doing sitting there. No control over this. This is a used clone body sort of thing. Where it's been taken over and used for a purpose completely. Same as Zuckerberg and all of these others, right? Where you don't see anything in their eyes because there isn't anything. That awareness we see in people's eyes. So that glint in someone's eyes, their awareness in the moment, their souls coming together and being here, balance in the moment, and that's beautiful. They're excited and that glints there, right? That's what we read in people. How much of their soul is here in this moment. So you can train someone, you can know their interests and bring their soul, like you're wrangling their soul into this awareness to be here and to experience with you just that. But a lot of the times for us sort of people who know truth and stuff, that's hard for us to do because their interests lie in all of these dreams that they've gotten from the system, which just put them back into suffering and going through all this suffering cycle. They need to really understand and aware this to clear that, so so they can have more of their awareness come in, which is all we want. This is a meeting place. We just got to be here to know it and to understand, to have the meetings with people. That's why we got to find people that are like-minded, and we need this, because I know you're real. Your awareness is there, but I'm talking to someone who's clueless. That sheep, their awareness isn't there at all. And if you show them some of your awareness, they're scared of that. And they go back into their hole and defend their little hole and stuff like this as well. It's
it's true. Yeah,
psychoactive.
It's I mean, I guess it's just herd mentality. It's easier to stick with the herd. They'll tell you you're right, and even
someone
though every day sucks,
right?
And this is the whole point. The finger poor little me too, right? If you're going to get through this and life sucks, well, you may as well go poor little me. It's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
But where does that lead, right? 10 years down the track, then you're just like this.
I'll tell you where that leads.
Person, full of disease and
I was pretty lucky when it comes to physical problems or anything like this, but my inflictions were all mental issues and autism and all this sort of stuff, and depression and all of this that went along with it. If there would have just been another step for me where my body would have just, if I didn't wake up at that point in that depression and just keep going down, it's just from that point on, my body would be breaking down faster and faster and faster in all manner of ways.
Yeah.
All manner of ways, all the things, all the symptoms. Oh, we don't know what's wrong with you, blah, 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 blah. But it's really just getting myself out of waking up, literally waking up and clearing these things within me that have toxified my system completely. It's the purification, the great work, right? Where we are looking for those things within us that we can relax and clear, and it's letting go of it. It's not hard. You're just letting go of a pain. That's literally all you're doing too. Acknowledging that this is a pain and then letting go of it. I'm acknowledging that the presidents are puppets of fucking parasites that don't have our best interests in all of this. So I'm going to release that. Thank you. And do what's good for me.
Go to 5D instead.
And that's that. Yeah. That's all I do is just what's good for me. What feels good, and that is a flow. So like when people go into go with the flow, yeah, but which fucking flow are you going with? If you're going away from balance, that's not a good flow to go with. That's what they want you to do. Go with that flow, which is what you're doing anyway. But if we acknowledge that, oh no, that's balance, and we move towards balance, now there's two paths here, towards balance or away from balance. So if we're on the path and we know that we've seen and we've become aware, now we've got that, I've got that one admittance ticket I created to go on my train, which is balance, to balance for me. And you have your own train, so it's whatever things we've ignored and put off and shock, all this sort of stuff. It's like your arm too. Like I remember you saying you had a micro sleep or something.
What, sorry?
Going into the tree?
I blacked out.
Blacked out. Yeah. So I would be very interested, and I'd sit in meditation to ask myself, what was I thinking at that moment before the blackout? Because it could be your body, your whole being ignoring something, pushing it away.
I've been trying to work out what it is. I mean, I should.
Because people actually do that with big shocks, and that's forgetting stuff, amnesia. You're pushing away that experience, whatever that was, you didn't want to, and consequences are you crash into a tree or whatever, and you'll go through all these physical things to align and realize. So I see that a lot, whereas we have to go back to that sort of initial point, what happened right at the start there, and follow, and the core. And when we go back to the core, we're releasing that knot or untying that knot or working with that. That's the great work sort of thing. But it is what it is. We're pushing it away because we believe it to be horrible. It's this big fear belief that we have. We're pushing it away. But when we look into it, no, it's because you have a realization and you think differently about it and you go, that was stupid. Why was I even worried about that at all? Because this is, these are the realizations we have to clear all of this stuff. And we just get what we intend from that point. We're not clearing anything. So we're not going through life with all of these things happening to us again and again, because we're not clearing this stuff and being in the moment. It's our past stuff coming into our future. Like we have to be here, and that's that karma, so walking with your karma is just like walking in balance forward with awareness. No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. That doesn't feel right. I'm not going to believe anything there. I'll look into it and see if I need to, if that affects me, but I'm just moving forward, strength, no fear. So you're not taking on any fear beliefs. So if we stay in that, we're balanced and we're going fearful, going through life as we should, life is simple. It really is. And it is going surfing with the flow, you know.
And it's that trust thing again, isn't it? It's like, and the no expectation, kind of trusting that it's all going to be good, but not expecting a certain, defined outcome. And like you say, trusting your gut, using your inner compass for what's right and wrong, and then you just walk the path.
I always make a distinction too. Most of the time I'm very observant in words and stuff now too, but it's, for me, I prefer the heart, trust your heart first and then trust your gut.
Okay.
Because your gut, it's like you got your heart, your mind, and your gut. You got three things going on there, right? Three feelings, three senses going on.
Yeah.
The gut is, can be the fear. Telling you to run or to fight. That's your gut. That's where it comes from. That's vibration. It's, it's now happening.
Yeah.
Right. So if we stay here, we now make that choice, and then we're going out from there to the brain, evenly, the brain and the gut. So these are our three brains and stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And they're experiencing. They're actually plexuses as well.
Yeah.
Like
so you get that resonance or feeling from the heart, physical feeling and everything from the heart. That's truth. True, full knowing, 100%, and it starts from there. That's the start of it. But if we're mixing things up either up here or down here, where did that start from? Where did this come from? Did this come from heart, or did this come from this being that I've created, this character? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's what they do, isn't it? Use your head, mate. Use your head. Come on.
Right. So all of these sayings and all of this sort of stuff, they're fine when we classify them, right, or refine them. So our thinking about them is more correct on how it all operates and flows naturally, because then we don't jump in the way. We don't get in the way of these things. We just know it's all truth from the heart, and we let it flow from there to start with. So, I'm getting this gut feeling, and you go acknowledge that, and you go, right, I'm going to connect and center and see what my heart thinks of this gut feeling and put them together. That'll tell you whether that's wrong or that's right. And then you feel it. If it's right, you go, oh, sweet, Does that make sense?
Yeah,
we're now communicating, and this way too, right?
Yeah. So instead of looking out and listening to Mr. Politician or Mr. Teacher or Mr. Policeman to tell you what's right or wrong,
it's all emotion, feeling for them. So the gut, my gut tells me to go with that. We need to kill.
They're the problem.
But that's not that.
No.
But if we're actually listening from here and we acknowledge that going on and go, yeah, he's trying to get me. Obama is fucking trying to get me, right? But it's not happening because I'm still here.
And it's a good way to judge people as well, And this whole thing of, we shouldn't judge people. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You should definitely judge people, but you should judge them for who they are. Not.
You should just be really good at judging.
You should just be really good.
Get better at it.
The perfect way is the feeling, right? If you get a feeling that's like lower down in your solar plexus, that's telling you that these people are on the more negative side. And if it's in the heart,
not balanced. They haven't balanced it. We're not getting a full spectrum that you're feeling in the heart. You're just getting that.
Yeah, and they're the kind of people that'll bring you down to their vibration. And good feelings,
or up both ways.
Depending, up to if it's a hard feeling,
Just use your head. Don't. Yep.
If you're really, really.
So that's the split. That's the division. That's the split. And that's what they've done in medical. Like literally where oh no, nothing happens in the brain when there's a disease over here. No, they're actually physically connected and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then our mind, our psyche is connected to that physically as well.
I mean, your brain's a bunch of nerves.
So simple.
We've got a nervous system. We've got a plexus in our heart. We've got a plexus in our solar system. We're electrical beings. So But they say, oh, no, the thoughts, the things that run through your electrical system have no, they've got nothing to do with your health at all.
There's no information there.
Yeah, there's no information there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So energy is information. Everything carries information. What is that information?
Which is another thing, you know, with food. You know, food carries information. You know, like you know, fruit and veg.
It carries its entire journey.
Yeah, yes. But once we get that smashed up and reassembled and sold as a processed food, there's no message there.
Yeah. You know? We want to scare the cattle and give everyone the adrenochrome from cows. I mean, yeah. And these are subtle things that people have noticed. The subtle energies that they've pushed away. I don't like that feeling. I'm pushing it away. Instead of going, what's this feeling? Where did this feeling come from? This is not me. This came from the food I just ate.
Yeah, well,
it's like just connecting it all.
I had not connect. I mean, this is the thing. Do you reckon a cow's scared before they kill it?
So in a lot of factory farming and all of this, and the life that it's had, like this,
had its babies ripped away.
When you torture someone and you self-isolate them, and you all of these sort of things, right? COVID. So when you're doing all of these things, what happens? It's just that fear energy flowing all the time. It's fight and flight most of the time. Most people are in a level of fight and flight. It's just how deep.
When they're
not healing in their body, they're not flowing. They're at a point of stop. Nothing flowing, nothing. No detoxing going on, not getting rid of all this toxic stuff, just holding on to it.
A lot of them don't even live in nature anymore. You know, they're literally factory farmed. But the whole, you know, achrome thing. I mean, you know, it's almost like a drug. You know, I wonder if it's a drug, or I wonder if some other people are actually taking the best bits of all this. You know, cattle.
Well, that's proven to, like, it's the youth, you're stealing youth and all of that aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
But it's really identified, like it's blood. That's our particle. That's where it all starts for us, and processing that blood through the heart. So when they inject stuff into your blood, it goes straight to the core, to the heart on the blood corona. Yeah. So, I mean, we have this whole process to filter things out to get to our blood to start with. So they're just going straight there, and from the heart out. It has to come into being, sort of thing. So that takes a lot of control and connection to sort of, if you can't, you know, you can detox GMO to a level. Just look at Primeval Code and what they've done with those seeds and stuff. It's electrostatic and rebalancing the electrostatic, bringing it back to its alpha sort of thing. And could get rid of that GMO seed aspect, right? But it's realigning our electrical capacity because it's been misbalanced and put off shape by interference and stuff. So they're shaping something here. We don't have to go along with that shape. We don't. And we don't.
Yeah, I wonder what the shape is, right? Because someone mentioned the other day, you know, we're talking about not sacred geometry, platonic solids. And of course, they've all got angles apart from the circle. They sort of said, you know,
complexity.
Is that all, you know, part of the system? Because there's no angles in nature. Is all this sort of boxy angle stuff part of, you know?
Well, it's a spiral. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a fracture, right? Fractal. So it's angle is a fractal.
There's shapes everywhere. I mean, they really are in nature, though, but they're just small.
But it's the template. The template is the platonic solid.
Yeah, exactly.
The template of energy, and then it's vibrated. That is vibrated into being, and we see the plant.
Yeah.
But its templates, its structure is actually geometric. When you're seeing, everything is geometric. It's if you've had a DMT trip or something, and that first initial experience going into that, everything becomes geometric like a kaleidoscope. Right there, you're using all of your eyes and you're seeing everything. Most people close their eyes and they're off on a trip. But if you just had a little bit and opened your eyes, you would now be seeing everything as it is with more. You're just seeing, but you're seeing that energetic shape of things, which is geometric, fractal.
Oh, it's definitely geometric. I see it when I close my eyes.
That's right. Yeah. That's what you're just seeing.
Yeah.
Your eyes, it doesn't matter about your eyes too. They can be
Oh,
closed.
lids,
And you
yeah.
just see that. Yeah, and you'll take away the physical, right? But you can be seeing through your eyelids, sort of thing as well.
Yeah, well, it's like the seeing in the dark you were talking about. I mean, I don't see in the dark, because I used to be really scared of the dark when I was little, and then I worked out that nothing happens. I sort of went, hang on, it's been years and no one's come and attacked me. Maybe I'll just give this a go. And I did, and nothing happened. And literally, I was instantly.
And it's just a blanket of warmth.
Yeah, I'll just walk into a pitch black thing where I can't see anything, and I'm not worried at all. But
yeah,
and it's not like I can see.
Put your feeling back into it.
I can
put your
feel
feeling back into it. You're now feeling around you and going, yeah, no, it's all good.
It's an energy thing. It's like I can walk in and it's like, oh, there's a
and you
chair
can trust that.
There's this there, but I'm not seeing it with my eyes. But
well, you're forcing yourself to trust yourself.
Kind of do. It's weird.
You're forcing yourself to do the work. You're forcing yourself to trust yourself, and that's what you're letting go to that. You're letting that fear go and feeling the trust that's there. I know, like people are blind and they're walking around. Because they're feeling that they can now accept this energy. What's this? Oh no, that's so it just happens for them, but this is for everyone. We all have these abilities. It's just below the limit.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing it all consciously. We don't need to see that because I'm focused here because they told me to focus here. You know, for my entire life, and I never even thought about not focusing there and walking out into the dark and just doing it. It's like shamans too. They're just running. You know, they get the little ones who just run in the dark. Go. Everything works out. Your body works it all out, and you have to. It's like throwing the bird, the little bird off the thing, and it fucking has to fly. Or it's dead. Right? Thank you. Bad feeling, right? Uncomfortable. That's that little bit of, but we know what's going to happen because this is why we do this. We know what's going to happen, so throw the little bird off.
And this is such a
look at you flying away.
You know, everything that ends up being really good seems really scary or fearful, but as soon as you take that step, you realize there's no fear there. It's all good. It's just all crap.
That's all taught fear.
Yeah,
someone taught you to do that. Yeah, not you. Why would you do that?
No.
Why
would you? The other thing is wanting, you know, someone to do it with you. This whole thing of it's hard to do it on your own and
lonely.
It's hard, and so that stops a lot of people getting started. Is, you know, they just want someone to help. They just want someone to do this. Can't someone, you know, I don't want to do it on my own. But the truth is, everyone else is out there saying the same thing. So they're not. So who are you going to get to help you? So you've really got to. But as soon as you take that step and go, bugger, I'm just going to do it, people just come out of the woodwork, and suddenly you've got everyone who say, oh, okay, you are here.
Well, you're synchronizing. You're synchronizing. Once you balance, you're synchronizing, and everything like, oh, this synchronicity. So the more that they happen, the more balanced you're becoming.
Yeah.
When it's everything is synchronous.
It's your RAS, isn't it? It's like your reticular activating system where it proves you right. You know, so if you walk out and you believe, you know, this is a crap neighborhood and it's full of rubbish. When you walk down the street, your brain will point out all the rubbish to you, and then you're like, yes, see, I'm so right. Rubbish everywhere.
It's been programmed.
Then and then you believe it more. You look for more rubbish, you see, and then suddenly, you know, it's everywhere. It's all you can see. But that's all just it's all just programming, but you can do it the other way. You know, if you're
it's funny that I moved out of town. I moved out of town you know, because I was in a shed. Actually, I live in crazy places. I was in a shed, but it was next to a train and heaps of noise, and then I had to get it. And this was actually the worst part of my depression and stuff. It was just like caving myself in and all of this sort of stuff as well. But I moved to clear. As part of this too, I had to move and be in nature. I'm on a property where I have no neighbors I can see. It's just, this is my parents' place, but my place is pretty much just, I live on a hill. And just getting used to that and clearing and doing, and just because just being so close to that clearing automatically happens and balances you, so long as you can stop and just be in it. Just stop. You know, deep rest, depressed, deep rest. That's all you need. So once you do that, and now I drive around town or something, or kind of when I'm back in that environment, I'm looking at trees that I never noticed before. I'm looking at nature, and that's where I see the difference too. Like when I'm in a place I can't see any nature, and now I'm away from that connection. I feel that now, but when you're in nature, it's yeah, it's all good. Everything's fine. Look, tweet, tweet, tweet. Oh, yeah.
And isn't it
So
interesting?
it's really easy to stop.
I mean, look at crime and stress rates. You know, people in countries compared to people who live in inner city, you know, apartment blocks. I mean, you don't even have to go look that up. Everyone knows how that goes, you know.
And we all know it. You know, if we do this ourselves, that's what would happen to me. You know, when you're away from it and you can see it, you know, if I moved into the city now and tried to do what I did before, no way, no how to remove myself from it. But when you're in it, it's that flow, right? They're just going through that flow, that 5G flow, you know, like just bombarded by so many things. I mean, when you become aware, you know, there's a point where you go, you know, I have to just move away from all of this bad stuff. I can't control myself. So that's you. Think about everyone else who's not even thinking of any of this. They're just not controlled. They don't have any control and don't know that first little thing they need to do to get it back. So they're doing everything they possibly can. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're just doing it. You know? I mean, that's the thing too, the lonely thing you're talking about when it, you know, because there was a big point in my realization where I'm not alone.
Yeah, well, this,
you know, it's when the spirit, I was sitting with my soul. I was sitting complete as one, and there was nothing I needed, nothing. I had found what I'd been looking and searching for, because searching balance in our direction of going towards balance is being with your soul, being your two souls were fractured to be here. So, you know, that's that point in the middle of the why where everything's together as one, which is the heart in the physical, you know. And so when you feel that and you are connected to that, you're not searching for that externally. You've found that internally. So you're complete, you're whole, you're one, you're alone maybe, but not lonely. And then so that other relationship or the children and all this sort of stuff, synchronistic and just happens and whatnot as well. You know, so it's not looking for love or all of this external there's not this happiness and my mouse happiness and my coffee happiness. No, it's all just happiness and it's coming from here. Not any of those things. So we can just do it from here and feel it from here all the time. Right?
Manifest in different ways.
Yeah. And it's below that limit. We're manifesting all the time. The more we expand that awareness, you know, balance it, clear the toxic thoughts, clear the toxic toxins in our body, do the work, clear, purify, the more we're getting all of our knowledge back again. So and shifting that lemon down, so we get all of these, you know, like our DNA changes is really that, opening up our DNA so that we have access to all of these things that we're doing unconsciously, like we communicate. I mean, I have chats to you, daydreaming, and we'll just have a chat. We're actually doing that. You're actually responding to me. So I can hear, you know, it's in a daydream, right? You're having a daydream and we have a little chat and I get my answer and it's like, sweet.
Yeah.
We've actually had that communication. I called your energy and your energy came and gave me the answer that you would give me. I mean, that's just how it works. So, and we're doing this all the time, unaware of it, which unconsciously. But when you realize and know that that's what you're doing, or you just do it, you go, I'm going to talk to that person and see what answer he gives me. And you just go there when you.
I agree. That's why I hate copyright.
Waking up. Hey?
That's why I hate copyright. I'm so against copyright because
it stops creativity.
It's no one's idea. It's the universe. It's everyone's. It's the universe. No one. Oh, come on, no one.
I always found that funny too, because what I do is problem solve. Like all I am is a problem solver and problem solving balance, and so everything's the same to me. It's all a problem, and we get to the solution, and it's all wonderful. But it's just, yeah. Oh fuck! I forgot where we were at. What were you just saying? Sorry.
God, what did I just? God.
It can't have been that important.
No, it can't have been.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Lost it completely.
It's connecting all those things together. It's just allowing that to happen. I mean, that's the thing. It's not painful. None of this stuff is painful. I watch people like, what I learned mostly, hypnosis and controlling people. How do they actually, because I realized I was programmed. So how do they do that? How is that magic trick done? How did they do that so I can deprogram myself? So it's just finding those things and then realizing that you have been programmed. This is me. So that's the first step to release it all. And when we start, when people start to, because that's the hardest thing really to for me, that was the biggest moment, was where I could see how far I put myself away from balance.
Yeah.
I had to come to that realization to go there. So I had to confront a whole bunch of things that I was not looking. Oh, that's right. When I watch someone, I can see them. Like if we talk about something that's negative to someone else, and they're not going to join you, they'll screw their head up. So if you're talking about something, it becomes a hard concept for them and hard to think about, and that's them ignoring and pushing it away. That's what they're doing. I don't want to think about it. So we can't allow ourselves to let the other person get to that moment, because when they get to that moment, they've shut off. They're not listening. They'll go into protecting that belief by attack. Yeah. They'll attack you, right?
To protect.
Do you get all your information off YouTube? It's like, yeah, right.
Where do you get your
crazy people and crazy attacks that they'll do? But it's hard to know, because there's so many of those triggers for people, because they're pushing away so many of the things, especially now. They're pushing away big things.
It's just being aware to other people though as well. If you're focused, if people are listening, if they're interested in
listening.
I mean, it's just breadcrumbs. I mean, the last thing that we should be doing is trying to tell anyone. I mean, because we've just had this massive conversation of don't let people tell you what to do. So obviously we shouldn't be doing that to others. And so, if people aren't ready to wake up, guess what? That's their experience.
It's their own journey.
Their choice. Yeah. They're allowed to. And it doesn't affect you at all unless you focus on it and you bring it into your energy.
That's right. And you're not whole. You're still looking. That's still part of the programming, where you're looking for that external thing
something out of you
to have that comfort, or to feel confident, and all of those things.
Yeah, when
it really is like, in the end, it's releasing, isn't it? Like,
I was going to say
they do this, but in reality, it's to be aware and to know what's going on, so you know what to do.
It's like we have these childhoods, and they just, you get all this mud sort of thrown on you, and then as you get up, you've then got to peel it all back, peel it off. It's like that quote, that the statue's not finished when there's nothing more to add. It's finished when there's nothing more to take away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
And
getting rid of all.
What a beautiful thing that
taken on. and
Yeah.
getting back to that place that we started at.
The core, getting back to the core, the heart.
The heart of the matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Core
And,
topic.
you know, it's that thing too, if we always think about our decisions and the way we're going, is where is this coming from? This idea or whatever, is this just coming from from the heart, like a sharing or an interest or want to share beauty or something like this? Or is it an ego thing or a, or
Implanted
I
thought.
always say want and need, right? Too. What's the difference between want and need? Right. People have to learn that difference between what want and need, because most people are going for their wants, not what they need. And the wants aren't what they need, and it's misaligned. Nature works by giving you everything you need at your feet.
Yeah.
So it's really being not wanting.
Yeah. But I mean,
and you get everything you need.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
might not know what you need, but you get it all. So it's releasing.
Think about the words
letting
too.
Go.
I mean, can you ever get anything that you want? You can't, because as soon as you get it, you're not wanting it anymore. So want is it's like standing up. Oh no, it's standing up. It's like try. So like you're sitting down, right? Try and stand up. And so the problem is, as soon as you make a move, you're now standing up. You're not trying. So it's something that doesn't even exist.
Well, that's how I hypnotize people too. That word try.
Yeah.
So, it's like when we put your hands together or any suggestibility test like this, and you're sticking it together and it's getting tighter and tighter. Now try and pull them apart and find you can't. That's a command and a suggestion, but it's, I've allowed you to try, and try is fail. So you're not going to do it. And that's the command. And that's what happens. And if they follow the command, they're like, oh yeah. And it's like your mind, you're doing that in your mind because you just believe I'm in control. That's a belief.
Yeah.
And now if I said, now if you just let go or realize that you're just imagining it all, what happens now? Oh, yes, or me. Yeah, not me. But you, in that moment, I conned you. I convinced you that I was in control. It's just a little moment that happens. It's not a big, like, there's so many different hypnotists, right? You go to a physiotherapist or this, and they have all these different, and the stage hypnotist, the mentalist, the magician, all these doing all these different types of hypnosis. No, it's just belief and imagination. That's all that's at work here.
Yeah.
And so you use your imagination, and then the belief is that this is a happening. I am not doing this. This is a happening, which is a simple little realization. I can just put you off balance and make you do that, and have a right timing that convinces you that, oh, I don't have control anymore. You've given that away to someone else. But the reality is, hey, you're imagining this, and just stop it.
You actually had control all the time.
Exactly.
A bit like the Wizard of Oz, isn't it?
That's the programming, though.
And a bit like the Wu Flu.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And in reality, it's Contagion's been busted. Like, the only thing that's contagious is yawning. Like, like if you look at studies and all the studies and stuff, that's it.
That's it.
It's the only thing they've ever been able to have evidence for contagious. So like a virus theory that's been going on for how many years, and all the proof actually disproves that theory, because they can't infect anyone. They can put Spanish flu samples live. Yeah, right. They can get samples of the Spanish flu and put it in their nose and in their ass and pass the mask and in their face, and no infection, not one, not one, not even in all through Louis Pasteur's journals. He didn't infect one thing or person or animal, or couldn't infect one. That's disproven your theory. That's full stop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all the logic I need. I don't need to research that. I didn't need to go out. That's just logic, right? That's disproven. You don't want to accept that it's disproven. Well, most people don't want to accept that it's disproven. That's all. But you know, it's like flat. Yeah. Well, the horizon doesn't dip down. No, it's disproven. The globe thing is disproven. Your maths are wrong.
Yeah,
it's all completely wrong. It's not what you're saying.
How can it?
Because of that one fact or the parallax. Yeah. To just take the one. Yeah. If it's illogical and doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's no point researching and looking for it. No, we're just finding more and more and more evidence to prove it.
Prove it, yeah.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work with one thing, you know, I mean, Einstein's famous quote, yeah, if the facts don't suit the theory, change the facts. That's Einstein. And that's exactly what he did. He made the Earth spin by changing the facts of an experiment. He made the apparatus experiment change size in his mind. Not in actual fact. You could measure that and all of that too. No, he just changed the fact and changed the world's thinking program.
Exactly.
Crazy, right? Everything I've looked into, you go back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like water ain't H2O. That hasn't been proven either. That is not proven.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day.
Yeah, go back to the fundamentals. Prove it to me. You know, like pure water, as in water, with nothing in it. Nothing for electricity. Electricity doesn't pass through water, pure water. Pure water is dielectric. Now, if I put salt in the water or anything in the water, now electricity can go through. So now you can do your experiment, giving off gases, but that's just what you put in there. That's just the electrodes you put in breaking down in water. That's just the gas coming off from those or the salt or the electrolyte that you put in there. No, you can't do it without it. All you get is steam. That's all you get. If you put two, it's like the Duras effect when you put two domes together and you've got the golden ratio distance between them, and you send electricity. This is vibration. If you put that in pure water, just water, there's no electricity traveling between that. It's this vibration, which is the resonance, and then it just turns into instant steam and doesn't get hot. The water doesn't get hot. It's not giving off gases, it's giving off water. It's gas steam. That's instant steam. So if I was to put salt and stuff in it, well, then now you've got that electricity flowing through it as well. But this is just a resonance in vibration that's creating the vibration is the energy. The resonance vibration, that's when it's resonating too. It's not drawing much power at all. That's why this thing, because it's in resonance. So when it's in resonance, it's free energy. You're producing more.
Yeah. Well, you've got
two things together that sing together. Yeah, and all that's coming off is pure water. The water does get thicker though. That's interesting. Gets more solid, viscous by doing that in experiments. Apparently, I'd love to check that one myself.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I have to look at trains, right? What's the shape of the front of a train? Like the front of the Bernie bit, it's a dome.
Cone, yeah.
What if there's another one inside it? And because this is the thing, I'm always thinking, if we had all this tech, there's no way that to run
like a bell,
you'd have to have some dude with a shovel shoveling crap into it the whole time. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no. I mean, all the things like bell towers. Bell towers. I haven't actually seen all of Martin's one about the bells and stuff. I'm interested into that because I have a theory about that one as well. It's pretty much like it involves a fire and everything too. I mean, you see these one bell towers and stuff too everywhere. Like every town had this bell tower. But I think about this technology, like turning it on. I'm like, well, what operates this? Going on an assumption that it is technology and all of this. And yeah, because you can turn it on, you can do all these things. And these theories are not theories. We've proven a lot of these sound things. You put all these together into these buildings, That is all of it together in these buildings. We take little pieces away. But I think the bell towers is quite a simple thing as a functioning thing. Like if I was, like I'm talking about resonance, right? I'm talking about making that resonance. So those domes, I put a bit of energy in there to get it resonating, but then it's getting more energy out, right? I had to put a little bit of energy in there. So that's what we do with the cathedrals. It's literally like taking Tesla's little 6-pound little experiment thing that he clamped onto the building and made the whole entire building shake, resonate. The entire building's resonating now. And so when you have the entire building resonating and they're in those shapes and geometric patterns, you've turned the building on. The building is now functioning. From that tiny little, it's the altar anyway. The altar is the point that's vibrating. So you get the, that's why they're so heavy, those big boxes and stuff. They have to actually be a part of the thing. So it's, instead of clamping it, you've just got a really heavy sarcophagus box that's ridiculously dense and needs to be a part of that building. So when that's vibrating, the entire building's vibrating. When you get, so with the Tesla device, you're changing the pressure until you get the resonance point where the building sings. And then when the building's singing, you have energy moving and through it. So all of these things now come into play, the domes, the this, the that, the steam going up, all this sort of stuff. And you can have fire there too in the middle of that dome as part of that process as well. That's adding on to this, right? So there's airflow coming in now too. Same as the bell towers. I look at a big tower with a bell at the top and then these portals coming in. And through portals comes air. And so at the bottom of these bell towers, you light a fire, you have a flame. And so that's drawing in the cool air from these portals. And then it's going up in this
spiral.
So it's an obelisk and stuff as well, right? But we're usually going up, like with tapered sides going up, compressing up. So that heat is traveling up into the bell. So then fills the bell and then flows out of the bell. And we have this temperature difference now too, where it's cold air on that side of the bell and heat on the inside, and this pressure difference. So I think that would actually get the bell ringing. All right, you're giving it energy here. So now, because you've created a pressure point and the bell is just right there at the pressure point. So that's where all the energy goes. The energy is going into the bell. So the bell's just constantly ringing probably. And the bell ringing would also be vibrating everything as well. Right? Creating these fields and stuff as well. So that's what I think's going on with those. And it sort of makes sense when it's like the fear of fire. And because they really want to put that fear of fire in churches. Like don't have a flame in
That's how they put
in the church, you burn down. Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of places things together for me, that.
And the whole thing of, like, where does, the devil live? Lots of fire down there. Where does the devil live, right? In the pit of fire. So it's bad. Prometheus stole fire.
Well, you're destroying something.
Yeah.
You're destroying something, and it's not really destroying. You're transmuting that into another energy, right?
Or what is
they want to put destruction and fear and bad and
what
evil.
You're doing is releasing sunlight, because for a tree to grow, it takes in sunlight. And guess what happens when you burn it? It's just releasing that sunlight back out again. That's all it is. I mean, heats.
Completing its cycle, perfect.
Yeah.
Destruction cycle. So that's death. So when we're expanding in awareness up until that point where we die, and now it's breaking down. Everything's breaking down and going. Yeah. That's the cycle. Destruction.
Yeah.
But it is creation and destruction. Shiva and
the sine wave, the yin yang. It's just everything, isn't it?
Yep. And that's all we're going through too. It's like once we understand where we are on this wave and it all makes sense, more people will be aware of what's going on. Because we're just trying to piece the timeline and stuff and all of this as well. Like where are we on this timeline? You know, we're in the middle. We're in the middle
somewhere.
and it's right, you know what's going on, but it's we're finding that in the physical. Where's this timeline? What's actually happening? Oh, this is our past, this is our future, like ours. This is nature's, this is just what is, you know, as opposed to creating a future through what you've seen
Past,
programming in the past. And
exactly, past is a teacher, not a prophet.
Yeah, and we're just blending those together, you know, and taking control of our own past to take control of our own future. And taking control of our own past is looking into the pain and all these things that we've put aside, sitting down, just going through it, you know.
Real.
I always think about Sonia and that, because she's like, meditation, what's this for? But it's like, yeah, you're lucky.
I can't imagine.
You're strong. You held on to yourself. You know who you are. You're connected. Some of us fucked up, all right?
Like, sit down and meditate.
Many males do.
Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Meditate. Stop laughing.
Oh, that's the thing too. Most people think like meditation's about, you know, stopping the thought and all of this sort of stuff. And it's really, it's not. I mean, they've done studies on meditation and stuff where these big masters, you know, going in and then they come out and they go and they're tracked with brain EEGs and all of this sort of stuff. And one story I remember, she comes out and goes, "Oh, that was the worst meditation I've ever had. And my brain just didn't stop and I couldn't get to silence and all of this." And the guy is doing the study and no, that's the best meditation you've had.
You're in the best place, yeah. Well, I mean,
your brain's working out these things.
Like people,
that's what it's doing.
Playing music are meditating.
Mm-hmm.
People, when they're writing, you know, that's meditating. Singing.
That's right. And if people are doing that more and more, they don't need to sit down, you know. But I really did. It really, because of the depth that I got into, I just had to stop and do nothing, literally.
Yeah, have to untie the knots. You know, all these years tying knots up, and so then you've got to untie them. But that's,
you got to give time.
Once they're untied, if you stay in that energy, then yeah, you don't. There's nothing left to untie, so you don't need to spend every day in meditation. You know, you might need to every now and again. Because I used to meditate every day.
But all the other meditations as well, you're doing more of the other things, like, you know, planting your plants or being in these meditative states.
And you're in that state. So you are actually doing it more.
Yeah, you just naturally end up doing more until you're not fighting and flighting anymore. That's all you're doing is meditating.
Exactly.
You don't need to do any. You are observant. You are aware.
You're there.
You're in control. You know,
definitely
on that wave.
Awesome.
But you know, it benefits most. You can just see that is one thing that would really help most people is just the stopping. So, you know, taking self-isolation and all these sort of things. They can be doing all this stuff.
It should be taught in school, just, you know, and it's a good practice, you know. I mean, you know, even 5 minutes a day is not gonna, you know, it's still a good habit, but knowing what to do. So when things do get tough and you do need to do your half an hour a day, well, you know, things don't
I had to do it when I was so when I went through NIDA, which was 3 years, I meditated every single morning, at least 15 minutes, but it was usually a half hour meditation. And I couldn't function without that. It was so time consuming and distractive and all of these things. I didn't have a moment spare, but that was necessary, or else I would have crashed a lot earlier. I would have gone into that depression sort of state a lot earlier, because you just can't take that. You actually have to do the things that balance you.
Your base, you know, your self-image really, isn't it? Your base vibration. Because I used to meditate every single day for, you know, 5-6 years at least.
Yeah.
Same thing. If I didn't do it, I'd be like, oh my God, everything's weird.
But that's what was keeping us sane.
Now I don't need to. It's just, you know, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll go and meditate. But
you're understanding your energy and the subtle energy. You know, I'm a bit something, I need to find out what it is or clear it or whatever.
I actually I was getting a bit worried about it. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm not meditating. Oh, should I be meditating? And then, you know, because
you're probably
feeling the call, if you know what I mean. And then after a while, I went, well, obviously, you know, I don't need to.
You're going into states and you're realizing things. You're allowing yourself to do that more and more. You don't need to set a time for it or anything. You're going straight in and out, and it's we're getting used to our own brain waves and frequencies. I mean, that's kind of the training we need, is the meditation. But once you know how to go from this state to that state, and you do it, and you can do whatever you're meditating, you're using your whole entire spectrum, not just stuck in one. All we're doing with meditation is getting out of that
opening,
you know, opening. Oh, look at all this other life that I was missing, all these other awareness states and all of this sort of stuff. More awareness. Let
go of the story, let the energy
so that comes back to our evil little thing, like, don't tell the child to stop daydreaming. No, leave them to daydream and let them become aware that they're doing that. They're always stopped before they come aware. It's like, no, don't do that. And so they're stopping that meditative state, that balance, that taught to.
Taught.
Normally programmed to.
It's like,
we gave our trust to these people.
Stop that, and the kids like, you know, that's what a nice.
Come back to focus. You know, in that moment too, it's like when you're daydreaming and you lose that breath or whatever, and you're just there. You're seeing the geometry, everything you're seeing at that point too. It's just we're not aware in that. Most people are not aware in that moment to go, I'm here in this moment, aware. I'm in another mind state. So now we are the observer, and now we can take control over that. We just didn't get there from following a thought, you know, because most people, they follow a thought, they get there. And you realize you're in that moment. When you realize you're in it and stay in it, you stay in that moment, stay with that focus, stay with that. Now you're learning that, to be in that and to use that and know that you can, right? Proving it to yourself. So when we learn that and we don't snap ourselves out of it because we still have that program, that habit to no. So when we control that and we stay, now the entire world is at your disposal. Like full knowledge. This is where it is.
And that's all it is. Theta. You know, as we know, all there is now. So we can only change in the now. It's catching yourself. But also, you know, if you, and it happens when you start learning to meditate, you know, you'll hit that spot, and then you'll realize that you're there, and it's like, oh crap, I didn't, and you sort of get mad at yourself. But no, don't do that. Just go, awesome. And then next time you'll, you know, before you know it, you'll catch yourself for a second, then you'll catch yourself for 2 seconds and 3 seconds, and then suddenly you're there. And it's like, oh, cool.
Until you can be there in that space all the time. It's like, there's another thing in meditation which I don't like as well. It's like people are taught and they go off on retreats and all this sort of stuff. I think just do it yourself. It's just sit there. Don't worry about breathing or all of these different techniques or anything. Just stop and just put that focus internally. That's it. That's all you need.
I have issues with techniques as well, because the problem with all these techniques, and you see it through, you know, meditation, health, self-help, you know, make money
really
online,
stops people from
everything, is to have a technique, you need to change from the actual thing that works. So you start with something that works, and someone's like, well, I want to teach that, but to sell it, I need to change something so it's mine. So they change something. Then the next person changes something else. By the time that you get it, it's got nothing to do with the actual what worked, you know, in the start.